Hello, friends. This short podcast is dedicated to those gay men who are still in the closet. We're going to talk about the dangers of being in the closet. And this is a very important podcast. It's a positive message here. But I title it Dangers of Being in the Closet because it's going to teach you something that's very, very crucial that I have not heard anybody communicate. And here it is. When someone is not out, when they are afraid to communicate who they are to their parents, to the people in their lives, this is an example of a lack of completion. But this is not like any kind of completion. This is the number one completion that has to take place in our lives for our psychology to be healthy. What this creates is a lack of completion of a pattern of psychological being where we learn how to be ourselves. If we don't tell others who we are, this absence of completion spreads into every area of our lives because that muscle, that psychological muscle that has to do with self-respect, authenticity, being true to who we are, that muscle is not completely developed. It's not exercised fully. And you can just imagine what happens if someone is not true to himself, if he does not know how to flex that muscle. Imagine what happens if somebody doesn't know how to flex the muscle of truth and authenticity. That muscle becomes weak and for some gay men never develops in their lives. As a result, they walk away at moments when they're supposed to flex that muscle. And this is really the danger of not flexing that muscle. They prefer to walk away. The understanding of this process can be simplified when we think about goal completion just in general. Goal achievement, goal completion, creating habits, and also smaller completions in our lives that then contribute to the completion of goals. So a simple completion could be you vacuum the carpet in your apartment. You start vacuuming in your living room, then you start vacuuming in your bedroom, in the kitchen, in the bathroom. But let's say you just don't complete the vacuuming, you just vacuum the living room. So you no longer complete the job. You walk away from yourself, you walk away from the task. So this is a simplified example of not completing something. And everybody has these incompletions here and there. We start something and it doesn't get finished, right? But here, when we talk about being in a closet, the absence of the completion that has to do with authenticity, with your identity, with the truth, with disclosure, with authentic sharing so that others get to know who you really are, if that completion doesn't take place, this is one of those completions that is the number one completion, or in this situation, incompletion, that then is going to be spreading itself into incompletions all across the person's life that has to do with interactions with other human beings. And just like when you vacuum the living room and you forget to vacuum your bedroom or the kitchen, and you're going to leave it dirty, that dirt is going to spread everywhere else really quickly. So if we leave that incompletion when it comes to who we are, then that incompletion and that dirt is going to spread into every area of our lives through the way of weakening the muscle that produces that completion and the psychological discomfort that has to happen, which is the reason why that completion never took place. So people try to avoid that psychological hurt, that psychological discomfort when they fail to complete that coming out process. And that discomfort has to happen because through that discomfort, that person realizes that this completion is how life is supposed to work. And walking away from it is walking away from yourself. They're thinking that they're walking away because something bad will happen, but that's not true. Something wonderful will happen. They're going to witness reality. This completion is going to give them access to reality for how people are, how family members are, how other people are when they want to reject somebody, when they don't want to accept somebody. And that truth is that completion. And the psychological discomfort is that completion. And then from that moment on, they can be more completed in how they see themselves, how they see other people. And then that completion gives them access to certain psychological coping mechanisms, certain emotional states of mind that previously were not available because that completion never took place. So for example, if you vacuum your living room and you get a little bit tired, when you complete the task by vacuuming the kitchen and vacuuming your bedroom, you're going to realize that it took a little bit longer than you thought. You're going to realize that you are tired now. You're going to realize many, many things that you would not have realized if you stopped vacuuming in the living room. So the same way, once you come out to other people, you're going to learn a lot of lessons about yourself, about who they are. And you're going to realize how human beings really are in general. And these lessons are so valuable that not coming out is going to create psychological underdevelopment that is so significant that in that situation, it's unlikely that that person is going to be able to have authentic relationships with anybody, including themselves. Because that courage is lacking. That courage to state the truth is not there. And so let's fast forward across the span of 10 years, that person is going to come across many other people, and the absence of that courage is going to be self-evident in the interactions with other people. Controlling mechanisms are going to be dominating. Just like they're controlling how things happen with the people that they don't tell the truth, that control is going to now happen with everybody else. They're going to try to compartmentalize people. They're going to try to control them. They're not going to be able to release themselves on a spiritual level, release themselves completely on a psychological level, because they've never really done that ever in their lives. And that's why relationships with closeted men never work. And that's why closeted men, until they come out fully, will never have authentic relationships. And instead, in many cases, there are addictions, because those are substitutes for that lack of completion. That completion is like, imagine the most important spiritual circle that has to be completed. Like when you draw a circle, when you complete that circle, there's a certain magical something that's supposed to take place in our psychology. And by not being truthful to who we are and not communicating that to others, we're actually not communicating that to ourselves. And that spiritual circle lacks completion. And this is the most important completion in our lives. Coming out is not really just coming out. Coming out is about the truth. Coming out is about authentic disposition towards life. Not pretending things, not making things up, not inventing things, not controlling things, but surrendering to the reality of existence. Surrendering to how the world really is versus how we have cooked it up in our heads. And that cooked up version of reality is going to be maintained by not completing the cycle of coming out. So if you're closeted, you actually are doing yourself a favor by telling everybody and just dealing with the reality how it is. You're doing yourself a favor. You're actually speeding up your process of living, of experiencing reality with people the way it is, not the way you want it to be or the way it should be, but the way it is. You're going to experience revelations, insights that otherwise you would never experience. And that's why coming out as soon as possible is the way to go. No matter how it hurts, no matter what you lose, no matter what happens, whatever that will be, it will be regardless of when you come out. You can't control it. There's nothing you can do about that, but you can live in a true disposition to who you really are. And that relationship is the kind of relationship you have with yourself. It's the most important relationship you will ever have in your life. And if that relationship is injured, every other relationship will be injured or will just go away. So I hope this helps you. I hope that you have the courage and the strength to be who you really are so that you can have the best relationships of your life as an extension of the best relationship that you have with yourself. Thanks for listening. I'm looking forward to more podcasts in the future. Please subscribe to my channel so that we learn and grow together. And I'm looking forward to sharing with you more podcasts in the future. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon. Take care.